I'm like, huh? The judge already issued his ruling. Now you got to go back in the courtroom. I go back in the courtroom. The Secret Service, the marshals, everybody's in there frantic. So I'm like, what's going on? They're like, he's like, I'm only a magistrate judge. So they went to a higher judge and they came to a compromise. I can still let you out, but not without an ankle bracelet. I said, I don't care. Just let me out. Fine. So he says, okay, here's the problem. We have no ankle bracelets left in this district.
Came back on. Balance was saying she would love to hear more of your story.
Yes.
Me too.
Me
You know, I know it's
too.
on BET. Tell us where to watch it again, and then just give us a little bit, and we're gonna watch the rest on BET to support.
Okay, yeah, sure. Y'all can watch it on BT. Just go to American Gangster Trap Queens, and I'm season 1, episode 6. So you just put it, or you could search Aisha Hall, or you could Google or YouTube. You know, it comes up. But you gotta probably watch it on like you could do Amazon Prime, or if you do BT, you probably need the BT app, or you gotta have BT on your home TV, you know, or you could watch it on demand. But basically, in a nutshell, so I used to be like heavy in the mortgage world when I was young. I was like 19. I was 19. I was actually 17. I was a telemarketer, and then when I turned 18, I became a loan officer. By the time I turned 19, I bought my first house because I was doing the mortgages. I knew what to do. So I bought a house and I was working, you know, I was an underwriter. That's just like my financial background or whatever. So I got real into the mortgage game heavy. But when I started working for myself as an underwriter, this was like my entry to the dark side. This dude hit me up and said he needed $4 million in a loan. And I said, I don't have a lender that's gonna give you $4 million. You're gonna have to go to a hard money lender. And he was like, I need it now. I'm like, what's you so adamant for? Like, what you got going on? He said, I'm in something called PPP. Now, not the PPP y'all know about today. It's called private placement platforms. And it's where commodities are traded in the private world. So basically, if I live in a country and I go and I'm digging in my backyard and I find oil, right? I strike oil or I strike gold or something, I can trade it privately with no government entity involved. Now, in the United States, you can legally trade large level commodities with no government interference, not from the FTC, not from any of these governing bodies, because you're not trading you're on the secondary market. It's beyond the secondary market. It's like the seventh market. It's off kilter. So these private placement platforms usually take place outside of the United States though, because like I said, we don't really have any commodities. But I knew nothing about this, nothing. So this guy is like, I need $4 million. It's off kilter. So these private placement platforms usually take place outside of the United States though, because like I said, we don't really have any commodities. But I knew nothing about this, nothing. So this guy is like, I need $4 million. And then he's getting like $40 million worth of oil. I'm like, well, how are you getting $40 million worth of oil with only $4 million? He said, because I just have to show that I have the network. I don't have to actually spend it. So I'm like, huh? He's like, this is the way that private platforms work. They will front me the commodity, right? And I have to only show my network, and then I can sell it and pay them later. I'm like, oh. I'm like, wow, well, what are the qualifications? Just got to look like you worth 100 million, 50 million, whatever it is. So I do my research. I'm about 24 at this time. And I just did some crazy shit. I just start calling up hedge fund managers. I'm like, listen, do you want to lend with no risk? And they're like, there's no such thing as lending with no risk. I said, yes, it is. All I need you to do is put my client's name, kind of like an acquisition. I need you to put my client's name, like a merger, on your company account, block them so they can't touch your money, but give them the paperwork that says that they're worth 100 million, 50 million, whatever. So they can't touch the money. They just need it on paper to look like it. That's it. Then they can go in to the trade and spend their own money. So in other words, if you're walking into a sneaker store and you want to buy a pair of Jordans, a special pair of Jordans that cost $2,500, and they say, we're not letting you in here because you don't have the money. And you say, yeah, look at my bank account, I got $2,500. They say, no, we're only letting people come in this store that's worth $100 million. And you're like, why? The sneakers is only $2,500. That's their way of keeping certain out of opportunity, right? So the next guy comes up, white dude. He's like, I'm coming in to buy the $2,500, sneakers. They're like, how much you got? 100 million. How much you coming in here to spend? 2,500. I'm standing at the door like, well, I'm coming to spend 2,500 too, but y'all not letting me in because of the network. So what I did was I made people look like they were worth more so that they could go into those trades and have the same opportunities as everybody else. Yeah, look at my bank account, I got $2,500. They say, no, we're only letting people come in this store that's worth $100 million. And you're like, why? The sneakers is only $2,500. That's their way of keeping certain out of opportunity, right? So the next guy comes up, white dude. He's like, I'm coming in to buy the $2,500, sneakers. They're like, how much you got? 100 million. How much you coming in here to spend? 2,500. I'm standing at the door like, well, I'm coming to spend 2,500 too, but y'all not letting me in because of the network. So what I did was I made people look like they were worth more so that they could go into those trades and have the same opportunities as everybody else, which was a big no-no. And that's what got me my 10 years ready.
10 years.
10 years, yes.
You smart.
Not smart.
So that's But say, my first deal comes along. I have a guy who wants to get into a trade. He said, I got $1 million that I want to spend, but the minimum requirement for the trade is 100 million. So I only want to spend like $1 million, but they're not letting me in. So I really need to look like I'm worth 100 million. Can you help me out? I said, I sure can. I got on the phone. I'm not going to say the company because they didn't get in no trouble. I took the ride. The company threw him on the paperwork. Sent the paperwork to me. I said, here's the paperwork. He said, how much you gonna charge me? I said, give me 100,000. It's the first 100,000 I ever made.
Wow.
Give me 100,000, one shot. I gave him the paperwork. He went about his business, got in the trade, spent his own money, and got even more rich. And I was like, wow, I did that for him? So now...
Well, did they bless you when you come home, the company? Shit, but keep your mouth shut?
Right.
Everybody. But anyway, so now that what I did was completely legal because I could go with you to your bank, Hocus, and be like, you add her to my bank account. Nobody can stop you. As long as I have my ID and you're there for us to sign, you can add me. If you happen to have 100 million in the bank, when they print out that statement, it's gonna look like I have 100 million as well. So that's how that works. Now, when you put it in the trading world, it's a little more complex because you have to go through all these different parameters that take a while. So clients are coming to me that needed that same service, but they didn't have a week to wait. They didn't have 2 weeks because they were gonna lose their trade opportunity. So what did I do with my little criminal ass? I went documents myself. I'm like, fuck it, I'm waiting on the bank. I changed the documents myself. My contact bank, I said, listen, somebody calls to confirm it. Just tell them that they good. They going in to spend their own money anyway. It's just an entry ticket for them to get through the door. So now, for these entry tickets, I'm charging 50 bands, 100 bands, 500,000, a million. I was averaging 2 million a month sometimes, $1.5 million. On a bad month, I did like 700,000. That was a bad month. I got an all black. We killing it, okay, killing it. I get one guy that comes to me and says, I'm gonna go trade and I need, the same thing. Okay. Instead of him using it for trading, he goes into the bank and asks for a loan. Now there's a whole different level of banking that the average person doesn't know about called banking instruments. So there's something called BGs, which is a bank guarantee. These are how big buildings are purchased. I'm talking about high rises, that cost 300 million. They're done not with cash exchanges. They're done with standby letters of credit, or they're done with BGs, right? And most people don't know what that is. But anyway, he bought something from me that was similar to a BG. He was supposed to use it just to show, because it's not real. Because I done changed the numbers. I didn't go through the bank, He goes to the bank and tries to get a loan against it. The bank figures it out. And they ask him, where'd you get this from? He says, I got it from Aisha Hall. Immediately, they freeze my funds. Now, I got millions of dollars in the bank. They freeze my funds. So when they freeze my funds, I call the bank and I'm like, I want my money. So they're like, well, in this particular account, it was Chase. You have over $5 million in here. They said, we're not going to give you that kind of money. We'll overnight it to you. Red flag. Why you overnighting me my money? Let me come in and get a cashier's check. Y'all don't want to bank with me? Y'all want to freeze up my account? No problem. Let me come get my money. They say, no, we're going to overnight it to you. Where you at? So I'm now like, oh, where I'm at? Okay. They're looking for me. So I'm not scared. I'm like, look, I don't want this lingering. Like, you know how people do shit and they got to look over their shoulder? I want to just deal with the situation. Just run into the beef and deal with it. So they overnight a check to me in Atlanta, because that's where I was living at the time, but I was in Detroit. They didn't know that. So they're like, where are you? I said, I'm in Atlanta. They said, oh, right now? I'm like, yeah, but I really wasn't. Went, paid a lawyer. I said, fly out with me to Atlanta. Something's not right. I'm waiting on my money, but I want to make sure that I get it. And if they give me a problem, my attorney is right here on the spot. So we get there. It's a big black SUV outside of the crib. So the lawyer goes, now mind you, the lawyer said, well, what do you need me for? I said, I'm waiting on a check and I just want you to be there. He said, what kind of check? I said, it's a check, but I wouldn't tell him the amount. So I said, how much you gonna charge to come with me, for the day? He said, give me like, I don't know, $1,000 for the day. I said, all right. Because my price, is not gonna change what you charge me based on what you think I got.
Right. So
I get there, he go to the SUV, knocks on the window. He said, y'all look a little suspicious. This is a quiet neighborhood, it's a new subdivision. Y'all just sitting here as kids. I want to make sure y'all not trying to, you're not no kidnappers. They cracked the window down this far. You'll see it on the show. And it says Secret Service. He said, have a nice day, sir, and rolled up the window. So now he comes back in the crib. He said, what kind of check you waiting on again? I said, it's a big check. He said, how? I said, about $5 million. He said, what? And I only charge you $1,000? I said, yeah, your fee is your fee. Your fee doesn't matter based on what you think I do. Now the lawyer's tripping. Everybody's tripping. Secret Service gets out the car, knocks on the door. They say, we have a warrant. We have an arrest warrant. So I'm like, shit, I'm going to jail. But when they came in, they didn't have an arrest warrant. They had an arrest warrant for my bank account, which I've never even seen or knew existed. So they literally arrested all of my bank accounts. 4 million here, 5 million here. They just arrested all my money. So I said, damn, now I'm broke. I had about $20,000 cash. That's it. I hit up my grandfather and I said, Poppy, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know how to play with this money. So give me about 50 grand and I'll double it for you. Give me about 6 months. He said, double 50 grand in 6 months? No problem. My grandfather cleans out his retirement, gives me 50 grand. I take the 50 grand plus my 20 and I sent a team to Africa. I said, fuck doing the commodity stuff on paper. I'm gonna go get actual gold. So I sent a team to Sierra Leone. They do alluvial mining in the jungle. We talk to the chiefs, and we work out a situation where we're gonna get the gold, get the dust, we smelter it down, brick it, and then ship it back to you. I know the whole game already, because this is what I do. Now I'm like, I'm gonna go get the actual thing. I bring it back to the United States. No fees paid. You only got to pay to export to export gold out of Africa. But to import into the United States, you can get on a plane with bricks of gold in your carry-ons and nobody's going to bother you because they want it. Make a long story short, even though the feds took all my money, I played with that gold for a month and a half. And with that $70,000, really it was 50 because I had to, by the time I sent the team and paid for first class flights, because that's a long flight. People want to be comfortable. It was really only about 50, 60,000. I flipped that shit in 6 weeks. I was back up to an M again. I was at 1.2 million. Then I was at 1.2 million. I didn't get nothing from the feds. I'm like, they arrested my bank account. They charged me with a civil case. Fuck it. I start over. Excuse me. I got a bad mouth. I'm sorry. Anyway, start over.
I don't care. You're dope as fuck.
Let me tell you something. After that, I said, I'm about to diversify crazy. I bought 75 houses. I went and I bought tractor trailers. I bought all kind of buildings. I'm like, okay, this is the game they play. Let me get my assets right. Make a long story short, when they saw what I was doing, now they come back to charge me criminally. So they come and they charge me criminally. They didn't get my houses, but they burnt down my warehouse. They got rid of my tractors. And then they arrest me and I go to court and I got one bank account on the low with $1 million in it from the gold. All other money is gone. This judge makes me take the stand and testify everywhere that I spent my money. I do that. I'm like, I spent this here. I bought these houses. I'm telling everything. I'm telling the truth. The judge said, I cannot legally not give you a bond. They are really pushing. Young lady, I don't know who you are, but they got 2 different judges on the phone from 2 different districts trying to force me to keep you in here. But legally, I can't do it. You're talking too much, the judge. So he said, I'm gonna let you out on bond. I said, yes, okay. All I'm thinking about, let me just go get my M and keep it pushing. The problem with money like that is that you cannot send money from Africa to the United States. Can't get on a plane with cash. You can't ship it. You have to move it through banks. So it kind of leaves you open to exposure. So I got this 1 1/4 in the bank. That's all I'm thinking about. Let me just get my bread. This judge just told me I could go get my bread. I'm good. Well, y'all would not believe. They take my ankle, my shackles off. They take everything off, the whole shit. They take it all off. And I'm ready to walk out. The marshals grab me and say, nah, you got to go back in the courtroom. There's been a change. I'm like, huh? The judge already issued his ruling. Nah, you got to go back in the courtroom. I go back in the courtroom. The Secret Service, the marshals, everybody's in there frantic. So I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I'm only a magistrate judge. So they went to a higher judge and they came to a compromise. I can still let you out, but not without an ankle bracelet. I said, I don't care. Just let me out. Fine. So he says, okay, here's the problem. We have no ankle bracelets left in this district.
Oh, get the fuck out.
But y'all gonna see the movie. I'm actually working with this right now, who owns the Trap Queens American Gangster thing. Big 50 just did her movie. Remy played her.
Yeah, I see now.
I'm gonna see. This is some crazy shit. So they say there's no ankle bracelets in the district. We have to order them. That can take 3 business days to a week. So he said, young lady, I did everything I could, but I have to hold you until the ankle bracelet comes. I'm like, are you serious? All I'm holding on is to my documentation. I got my money. I don't care. If I got to stay here for a week, fuck it, I got my money. Time passes. I go back in the courtroom. They said the ankle bracelet is here. They let me out. I go straight to the bank. When I get to the bank, I give them the order from the judge. Yeah, I just want to give me a cashier's check for my balance. They pull it up, 0 balance. I said, what happened to my $1 million? Secret Service came in here and took it yesterday. So the whole ankle bracelet thing was a lie. That was a stalling tactic. They went to a higher judge, overrode that judge's ruling to give me my money, and put a hold on it and seized it. When I tell y'all this money was never in my case paperwork, nowhere to be found, it was stolen. So I said, okay, I need to go find my money. No, you got an ankle bracelet on. You have to be inside at all times unless it's an emergency. So now I can't move. So now I'm inside on a bracelet. I get a phone call from the fire marshal. Are you the owner of such and such warehouse where my tractor trailers are? Yes. It burned down to the ground and everything in it. I said, huh? How is this possible? I said, I just bought this building. It has no electricity. An empty, abandoned warehouse. How could it burn down? I said, there's cameras across the street at the tire shop because it was in an industrial area. Ask to see the cameras. They go to ask them to see the cameras. Y'all don't think I'm lying. All the cameras is disabled. So now there's no camera footage. So the fire marshal doesn't know what's going on. So he said, the only thing I can tell you, miss, you need to come here. I called my pre-trial officer. I said, I have an emergency. One of my properties burned down. Can I have permission to go? He told me no. I said, it's a fire. So the fire marshal came on the phone and said, it's arson. He said, we did an investigation. It's 100% arson. No. I go outside, like, fuck it, I'm going anyway. Go to my car. Somebody used a nail gun and flattened all my tires.
Wow.
Listen. So I say all of that to say, you know, I ended up getting sentenced. And everybody thought I would get like a year and a day or something. I ended up getting 10 and a half years, 126 months. I had no losses because, as I explained, everybody who paid me for a service. I didn't steal anything. It wasn't like fraud. I was paid for a service, right? They could have charged me with like document fraud or something, but they charged me with obstruction of justice. They charged me with witness tampering. And they said that I had so much money that I could flee and lead a life anywhere. So there was no way for me to get bail or bond. I got arrested when I went to court, and I was in ever since. I've been home now for like 3.5 years. But
well, let me ask you: do you think that you got so much time because you didn't tell nobody?
Oh, I know I got so much time because I didn't tell nobody. Not only did I get time, my whole team, they were so loyal to me. They didn't tell. You know, the judge offered them, y'all can go home. We want Miss Hall. You know what I mean? But I also learned the power of sexism and racism on another level. Because the first thing that they wanted from me was, who really ran your company? Who really showed you how to make this money? Who is he? They did not know that I was the one that was running this company. This was my ship. And I gave a hell of a speech at my sentencing. I said, you know, I don't know what sentence I'm gonna get, but all I ask is that whatever time we're gonna give my staff, these is my brothers. I had an all-black staff. They were straight from the street. I taught them the game. And payday on Fridays was $100,000 for everybody. It was a different type of, you know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, boss lady, you the truth. They did not like that. I walked in the courtroom, you know, at that time, Milano Blahniks was popping. You know, I had my diamonds on, my Escada. My lawyer said, are you out of your mind? This is all I had. You can't come in here with this. I mean, it was just so much hate. Like, you as a black woman, you are not entitled to live like this. How dare you? And I had a very good judge. His name was John Gleason. He was known for letting drug offenders get very low sentences. And people were like, you're going to be good. And I said, what y'all don't understand is a white man sitting in a judge's position will look at a black person and say, damn, I feel bad for this little nigga. Grew up in the slums, probably didn't have no choice but to sell drugs. Let me be a little sympathetic, a little empathetic. But a woman making millions of dollars that could sit with any hedge fund manager, that could sit with any banker, you know, I'm well versed in almost everything, you know. It's like you out of your league. We really got to go hard on you because we don't want you inspiring other people to think they can do this shit. And that's the story in a nutshell. You know, that's
I still want to watch the thing. Can you tell us one more more time, we'll watch it again. I know what this for the people.
Yeah,
we'll watch the story. It's on BET, y'all.
BET. You can watch it on BET or BET Plus. And it's American Gangster Trap Queen, episode 6.
But how did you mentally get through 10 years in prison? How did you make it through mentally?
Yeah.
So I spent the majority of my time. In the beginning, I was in denial. I was at NBC Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I was in denial because at that time I was still going to court. When you go into court, you have hope. You think like any court date, some miracle might happen, right? I was not processing what the reality of the situation. And so that was the first year and a half, 2 years I was going to court. The reality didn't hit me until I got sentenced. And I got 126 months. They really wanted to give me 14 years. They gave me obstruction of justice. They gave me witness tampering. Just crazy shit, you know? And I got in there and I didn't know what I was gonna do. But I got inspired by, I don't know if y'all know Wahida Clark. They call her the Queen of Street Lit. She wrote the Bitch series. She wrote all kind of big books. I was sitting there, everybody was reading her books, and I opened up one of her books and I saw that she had a 10-year sentence and that she became a New York Times best-selling author while she was in prison. So I read the book and I'm like, shit, I'm creative. I could write like this. So I ended up writing 13 books while I was, you know.
Yo, that's dope.
Yeah, I wrote these books and, you know, I published them, most of them while I was away. I ended up writing like, my best friend that I met in there, Shawana King, she has a book out called Swipe. I wrote that for her. I wrote a bunch of, I ghost wrote some books, I'm not gonna say, you know, I did that. Give me, in prison, it's like, give me $2,500, I write your book. You know, $2,500 as a prisoner, somebody throws $2,500 on your books, it feel like $25,000. So I wrote
Were you
reading
a lot? Were you reading a lot?
I did, heck yeah. I read, I probably read about a good 400, 500 books, at least.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a lot of reading, but I did a lot of writing too. So, you know, I put on plays while I was in there. That was one of the things I did. I put on plays, you know, and I made a lot of business women. That's like one of my biggest badges of honor. I spent a lot of time with the women, and I got a lot of friends that if they came on the live right now, they would tell you, I started a cleaning business because Aisha helped me, you know, set that up. I started this business, that business. Like, I dedicated my time to helping the people. I spoke out against all of it's a lot of abuse that happens in prison. You know what I mean? Especially with women. And another thing in prison is the men, they abandon the women. I have never seen something like it. They abandon the women. You get, when I was in MDC, the visitor floors for the men, when I would go see my lawyer, you like, excuse me, you know, you scooting past baby mamas and wives and grandmas and mothers. The women's visit, listen, it'd be like, that's where my best friends came from. We had visits together. It was about 6 of us. That was it. You got 100 women on the unit and only 6 are having visits. There was nobody supporting us.
Did you have children?
I don't have any children. I probably would have had children, but during, you know, I was born from 25 to 35. You know, those are my prime years. So I came home and I met someone, but they locked him up for associating with me.
Wow.
They violated him. Because we posted felons on paper. I just been through it. But probably I would say that probably one of my greatest accomplishments since I came home is this. This is my Larry the Linden Lion book.
Oh my God.
It's about credit. So it's all about credit. It rhymes. It teaches them about banking.
Oh, that's so
cool. Yeah, so I was like, let me just use what I know. And because a lot of people talk, but I'm like, I have a big problem with people criticizing Black people. I don't like it. Because I'm like, unless you speak about the people who put us in this position, then don't speak about us unless you got something positive to say. Or what are you doing to help? So I always make sure that I'm doing something that's helping. So this book to me is like a game changer because we don't learn about money. We don't learn about credit. We don't learn about banking. We don't learn about anything that has to do with the real power, which is the means of exchange. Whether it's in prison, it's stamps. You know, if you got books and books and stamps, you're a man. You know, and you can make those stamps have any value that we decide. We decide the currency. So this is what the book is about. Teaching them about borrowing and just having like a better understanding about just financial literacy overall. It's short, it's straight to the point, but every kid who reads it at 5 or 6 and up can tell you what interest is. They can tell you what good credit means. They can tell you what it means to lend. Just the basic terminology, and also having like some financial, a moral census when it comes to money, you know. So even though they effed me over, they really gave me like this great platform. You know, like my platform is crazy. I'm actually getting ready to do a financial seminar. It's like get rich and stay out of jail. And it's me, Mendici, Aaron, my girl Gia, the house goddess, and my sis Juana, and we just coming together in a symposium. We're gonna be teaching, sharing like where we came from and how we got out and still getting to the bag and just like giving away the jewels. So they really gave me a platform because people respect how I did my time. People respect I ain't getting nobody in trouble. You know, people respect my mind as an intellectual, as a Black woman. You know, like I let it be known that I'm well versed in anything, any topic. You know, I know something. I can carry a conversation, and I can sit in any room with anybody. And I feel like so many more of us could do that if we have the opportunity. You know, so yeah, that's it overall. Really,
everybody wants to know what the book
they know.
name.
Where's the book? Where can you get the book and the name?
Oh, they can get the book right on Amazon. So it's called Larry the Linden Lion.
Larry the Linden Lion. Somebody type that in and I will pin it. Larry the Linden Lion. This is Aisha Hall talking, y'all. Some people asking which one is that? There's 3 females. That her name, the real Aisha Hall is her Instagram. That's the one who's talking. Yo, you are
I love it.
huge inspiration. I understand what you're saying. I think you know, like you said that, you know, everybody can do what you do. I just don't believe in that, man. I think certain people have certain gifts, and you know, and you cultivated your gift, you used it, and you still using it. You amazing, man. Like you got. I think you got everybody that's watching the tree. You got me intrigued. I'm just like, I ain't know it was that deep.
So much, thank y'all. You know what though? Honestly, the biggest thing with me is, and I don't mean it in that way, like not in a gang, but that all of that what I do is backed by me being a straight gangster. When I say that, what I mean is I'm very fearless. Like I'm not scared of nothing.
Yes.
Like whatever I believe in, like I'm a warrior. Like people are like, oh, you a queen, put warrior before queen. You know what I mean? I will treat.
Yeah, survivors, baby.
Bro, you exude it the entire time.
100%. And I don't play no game.
Story. I was thinking.
Yeah, you know, I don't fold. I don't like I'm just 100% like I'm a G with it, like all the way. But and I don't let people intimidate me. You know, like I'm anti. A lot of the people ask me like, what's your biggest key to success? And I said, you got to know that you are a God. You are a living God.
Bruh.
You already know.
Yo, it's the
you on the right platform talking that shit. Keep going.
Oh, big time.
Yo, that's key.
I'm like, you know, people be like, in prison, they used to have a lot of shit to say, because they said I ran a cult because I taught a metaphysics class, and there was a teacher metaphysics who was a white woman, and I went, and one day she said, does anybody ever want to, you know, lead the class or guest speak? I did one time, and then I spoke the class, right? Yeah. We have like 3 or 4 people coming. When I was going, we had about 100, 200 coming to the class every week to hear me speak, and I was just blessing them on all of our history. I'm like, I had everybody walking around talking about they are God, you know, so they was like, wasn't feeling that. But, you know, that's really the key. When you really understand, and that's why I said, well, everybody can do it. When people everybody's a God. You either know it or you don't know it. That's what separates. You know what I mean? That's where, you know, the power starts to show. when you know it. Like, I mean, know it.
Know
not,
it.
Not
Knowledge
me.
yourself. Yes.
No, you know.
I'm a God.
You're God.
Yes. Yes. Where were you raised?
I was raised in Roosevelt, New York. Yeah, my father was probably a genius. You know, he was very, very. He was signed a Public Enemy back in the day. His name was Prince Collins.
What? Oh shit!
What? You didn't even say that.
Yeah, so my father was like always. They was calling him conspiracy theorist. They always had something negative to say about him. You know, but really, he was really a super genius. He used to always say, you know, he was a god. People would be like, "Oh, you're gonna go to hell. Who are you?" But anyway, he ended up getting real heavy into the Moorish movement for the freedom. You know, he became a sovereign. Next thing you know, he gets arrested. Next thing you know, he gets deported. But he was a citizen. Came here when he was like 4 years old. So he'd been a citizen. They deported him under a false name. And then when I was away, he would write me and say, I don't think I'm gonna be here that long. I feel like it's some type of hit, something. Because my father couldn't take corruption. You know what I mean? So he always had to speak out. Always. Right. He spoke out in the United States, they got rid of him. They deported him to Jamaica. He was like, it's too much English influence over here. Too much. And he was always, next thing you know, I didn't hear from him. He emailed me every day. I didn't hear from him for 2 days. I get a call that he was murdered. But he let me know he was going to be murdered ahead of time. But you know what? I wasn't sad because he was a god and he was willing to go to the next realm for his cause. You know what I mean? I inherited that from him. Like, I'm not scared to speak out. People be like, oh, you better watch what you say. When you're on that level, you know, nothing, the attention, that's what you need. How's you gonna get the message out there? So,
yeah, I love the way the universe brings us
right?
gods
Right?
together. The way we know, like I love it. It's like I got the chills right now. Right speaking. I say,
Yeah.
keep talking.
Queen, what's your sign? What's your sign?
I was gonna ask her that too.
I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Yeah, 86. So I don't know. I'm just happy. Like I've been watching. I've been in the room. You know, I've been kind of making my little comments and watching. And I was just kind of waiting for the right time to just jump in. I move a lot off of feelings. You know what I mean? Off of energy. So I guess it was the right time.
Yeah.
You know. But
you are like one of the biggest causes why I went live tonight. Because you asked me early today in the DM, you going live? I was like, I didn't want to say no. I was just like, yeah. I don't know why. So yeah, I really wasn't planning on it. But being that you said that, I was like, all right, I can go live. Then I hit up Balance. I was like, yeah, we gonna go live tonight. So it's crazy how the energy flows. That's what I'm saying, smiling like, I love it. I love it.
So dope. They keep calling, they saying she got that pop, Tupac energy. I love it.
Yes.
But I do. So that's like my big thing. Like I do a lot of shows. You know, I was real close with Fred. You know, Fred the Godson. He was one of the. When I came home, he did a song with me. Like he's like, I believe in you, sis. And it was like 38. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do music. But then I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna let these people take that from me because I lost 10 years. You know, so you know, music is like for me, it's like the expression. Like sometimes people are not. There's different vibrations in music. So you can talk a certain way in the music, and nobody can shut you up. Nobody can stop you. You know, so.
Well, you know, I was talking to my bro GIB earlier. He's from Brooklyn, and we was actually talking about this. Like, we know we older, we get on. I was like, yo, bro, because he was like, yo, sometimes I be want to give up. I say, yo, bro, you know what? DMX told me. I had said something like that to DMX one time, and he said, yo, Hope, this is what we do. We'll never stop, like never. And you know what? And he died a rapper. He died an artist, right? Like he died rapping. He had an album about to drop right before he died, right? And I'm like, yo, I might take a little break and do other, because I got other things going on, but I'm never gonna stop doing music. Never. You know what I mean? Who put an age limit, like you said, on what we can and can't do? So I say the same thing to you, as I said to GIB earlier, as DMX told me, this is what we do. We're gonna die like rapping. It's just what it is. All making
and
music.
You know that's also a language, because a lot of people I meet that are on the same frequency, they do music. So it's like an archetype. You know what I mean? Like it's like I think the whole earth vibrates like do. Maybe we
Definitely.
on the same frequency or something like with the universe. Because a lot of people who think like we think, they always end up. I do music. I'm an artist, and I don't think that's a coincidence. There's something with music. It's like the language of the gods. You know what I mean? So.
And Hocus, 38 is still very young. I keep telling you that. And the only limitation we have is in our mental.
You
right?
38 too?
No,
Yeah.
I need 38.
I'm 38. You had to tell the whole world my age. Nah, I don't
You
know.
say your age every time on here. No, you say your age.
I don't never lie about my age. Yeah, I'm 38.
Wow, that's crazy.
The only limitation is the mind, and we know that age, that's just a number. We're spiritual beings first before anything. So I don't even know why people ask what age you are. That's so irrelevant to me. I don't even focus on age.
Right. That's a fact. I do.
I only know your age because you say it every time we come up here.
You know, but you know why I say it? Because I feel like that. Like people feel like you're getting old. I be like, yo, I actually feel younger. You know,
Right.
I could run more laps now than I did when I was 25. If you knew me then, I was 240 pounds. I came home looking 10 years younger. Everybody was like, how the fuck did you do that? I was like, diet, the way I was eating, the way I trained my body. But yeah, that's why I tell my age all the time. I don't hide it. Like I don't do that industry shit. We'll go 5 years younger just for what? Like if you don't want to listen to my music because I'm 38, then it's just okay. I just don't. I should be more believable than somebody 20 years old anyway. But I get it.
Nah, that's true.
And I was just looking at how I love Eve. She was one of my favorite rappers growing up. But I was just looking at a story that she's pregnant now, and I believe she's older than 38. But it's like we put all these limitations on people, and they were saying, oh, she'll never have a baby, and now she's pregnant with her first child. So she was just saying that, 25 to 35, that is a great time to have children, but you can definitely have children after 35.
Well, let me tell you something. I came home to a different breed of men than the men that the mentality that I left. So it took me a little while, you know what I mean, to find somebody who was on my level, because it was like, yo, like that period of being gone, like so much change. You know what I mean? It's like there's a supreme feminism, like for men and women. It's bugged out to me, but like I don't want to get your page shut down, so I ain't gonna
the alphabet boys, and we ain't talking about the FBI. Definitely
for real. It's a little different.
It is different.
And it's crazy because being in prison for so long as a female, there was a lot of females that came into the prison with male energy. There's a lot of women that, as they say, gave for the stay. That's real big in female prisons, right? But it doesn't have the same effect as it does when the men do it. It's a totally different thing. Totally different thing. And that's every time I do a podcast or do an interview, anytime it's a guy, they always want to ask that first. So how was it in there with the girls? Like, was there a lot of girl on? That's all they care about. I'm like, yeah, but I will say this though. The difference with female prisons, I don't know. Like, I know male prisons have a lot more violence, but with female prisons, I never realized that, like, probably I want to say 70% of the women had some form of sexual abuse. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how much that is in our communities. Like, it's crazy. And it traumatizes these women. And then these officers in there, they take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just a whole crazy dichotomy. Like, I've never seen anything like it. It's like the whole, and now they targeting the women. So the women are actually getting a lot more time than the men. There's been an increase in the time for women. Also, the women hold it down, yo. The women do not talk. Like, they might talk like chatter, but as far as like being loyal, a lot of women say, oh, I don't hang with women, I don't hang around girls, oh, too much drama. But I got a different respect for women after doing time with them. Because I done seen women not tell on their baby daddies and stuff like that, and these dudes is getting out because they telling on the girls. Like, it's like people don't really know, like, these dudes is telling crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, I never seen nothing like it.
I done been told on a few times. Oh, I know.
We know.
Nikki speaking out on the V word. Nikki speaking out on it. She redeemed herself with me because I had cut her off. When she did it with 6ix9ine, I was just like, and I'm so like, you know, it's a very sensitive topic to me because I watch people like, what's the big deal? It's the industry. And let me tell you, I said, you can't have mass incarceration without mass telling. It goes together. So when you pin us against each other and people act like that's okay, it's like you were part of the problem. You're part of mass incarceration. You know what I mean? Because nobody should have to choose with a nonviolent crime whether they're going to do life or tell. They shouldn't have to make that choice. You know what I'm saying? So when we feed into that energy, it's like fueling mass incarceration. That's like when I'll never forget, Fred, we was in the studio one time, he said, yo, sis, Rick Ross will love you. He will love you. Like he's looking for a female right now. Because, you know, he had a deal with Rick. He said, I'm going to call him and I want you to talk to him. I said, you ain't going to call him and let me talk to him. I said, he worked as a CEO and I have not heard him speak out about mass incarceration yet. I can't forgive him. I can't. I am very militant when it comes to certain issues. We would have some really good conversations on here. I don't play no game with that.
But you know what's so crazy though? Like what I love about you is that, you know, other people would have seen that as an opportunity to make some money and to secure themselves in a business. But you like, your mind is like, you made millions of dollars on your own. You ain't even thinking about that. You're like, I can make this money by myself. So like, I'm not selling out my integrity for this opportunity. I love that. I just love that. That's very rare in a human being, let alone a woman. Like, for real.
Yeah, I really want to, that's why I'm just waiting for my opportunity, especially with the music, because my stories are all official. I just want to bring back some level of respecting like real shit, some level of respect and integrity, you know, like, I think there's an open lane for that, and everybody's so fake. Like, I really made millions and millions of dollars, like really. And when I look at social media and I see people, everybody, when I first came home, I thought I was gonna be a billionaire. Because I said, if these average people is doing it like this, oh, it's gonna be easy for me. I didn't know it was fake. You know what I mean? Because social media is this. I left and it was MySpace. It wasn't no
right.
all that. So
MySpace was dope.
Yeah. So I was confused.
When I left, it was MySpace. I was like,
yeah, I was on MySpace. You know, so when I came home, they was like, yo, my friend had set up Instagram for me. She was like, yo, sis, you got such and such amount of likes. I'm like, oh, okay, what's a like? You know, I didn't even know what a like was. It was crazy. I didn't ever see a smartphone. The last phone I had was a BlackBerry Storm before I went away. So when they start talking all of this, you know, getting this money stuff and all that, and I'm like, yo, it's about to be real easy. I said, technology must have made the game so easy. Then I started realizing that everybody was fronting. Because at first I was feeling like, what am I not doing right? Why am I not where a certain level yet? Like, what am I not doing at every? Oh, I'm not fronting. Okay, I'm good. You know what I mean? So that helped me a lot.
I ain't lying.
Yeah.
So you're in Atlanta now?
No. I'm in Jersey now.
Oh, okay.
I'm in Jersey. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm glad I got a little tribe right here because it's hard sometimes. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's super hard. This is therapeutic for me. As I started going live last year, one day it was the pandemic just happened. I never went live like that. I said, man, it was nighttime. I said, let me just jump on a live. I'm drunk. Let me see who agree with me. And I got so much people on the live. I'm like, oh shit. So I started going every night. It was like we all locked in anyway. This shit turned into the rabbit hole, and I love it. Now it's like, you know, I got other big things that's, you know, I can't really talk about yet. That's about to happen just from this. And it's beautiful. So, like, I love it.
You deserve it. I be watching. I was really intrigued. You know, I pop in and I be like, wow, it's my type of time. Especially the first time I watched you was talking about UFOs and whatever. And that's my thing. I consider myself a UFO guru, okay? So when I heard you talk about that, I said, oh, that's my guy. I'm about to come on here and just listen, you know.
Well, tell Medici he think I'm weird for that.
I'm working on Medici's. I'm about to get him right. That's my bro though. I love Medici's attitude, his character. He's like a pure soul.
Yeah, he's very humble. Very humble.
He's very, very humble. But I actually met him because Yandy was managing me when I first came home. So that's how I actually, I was with the Pink Panther clique. So it was a group of us that came out of prison, and we were like all like former, well, I don't want to say former because we still are, but we were female bosses before we went away, and we got together in prison, and we came out, and we wanted to like continue that and let the world know what's really happening with mass incarceration. And they was like, oh, you know, y'all need a reality show, y'all need promo, y'all need this. So Mendices was in prison at the time, and Yandy had connected with us, you know what I mean? So she had come on and managed us. And I'm actually supposed to be doing a bunch of big stuff. I can't even talk about it, you know, these contract stuff or whatever. But I would just say, well, they thought they was killing me. They actually gave me a whole nother avenue. Like, it's crazy. Like,
I
the
say
whole
the same
world
shit.
gonna know who I am. It's crazy.
I love it.
Right?
I say the same shit, man. Like, you know, they try to take my freedom, put me away for life. Only difference is I didn't cop out, went to trial, and I won. And in doing that, y'all made me bigger, because, like, you know, not too many people that was charged as a leader of something, right, of an organization, of a gang, come out on top and actually not guilty on everything. And, you know, it just made me.
I didn't even know your story. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know, I was heavily in the streets, grew up in gangs, sex, money, murder, you know, Castle Hill Project. You know, got money, you know, did my thing, you know, my thing was drugs, you know, and in 2008, I started a rap group called Bang Bang Boogie. It was me, Cuban Link, my son, Lord Tariq, my brother S1, and we, you know, we made a song, and the song was This and Fat Joe. Fat Joe's cool now. Yeah, that's my guy. We was in the rap group. That's still my brother right now. But, you know, and doing that, they was watching us. They was investigating us. So long story short, they wound up indicting my whole neighborhood and had me and my brother as the kingpin. Sat on Rikers Island 4 years, and in those 4 years, I read a whole lot of books. 4 years on Rikers? God, 4 years. 4 years, 3 months, 3 days. I'll tell you the whole hit. Real talk. My trial lasted 2 months. Getting up every day, coming back to the house at 11:30 at night, having to get up 4:30 in the morning. That shit is stressful. But, you know, in those 4 years, I turned it into university instead of being, you know, gangbang and doing wilding out. I was still repping, but I was reading a lot, and I found out that I am a god. That's when I found out that I'm a god. It's crazy how we here talking, and you know what I mean? But anyway, I went to trial. And they charged me with 8 counts, 4 counts of conspiracy, 4 counts of people got shot. They accused me of. I got acquitted on all of that. And I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
Yeah.
That's fire.
What? Ever since I came home, I've been pursuing my music career, and, you know, and just knowing that I'm a creator, I created a whole lot. Like, I attracted a whole lot to my life. Like I said earlier, DMX is a friend. You know what I mean? I got songs with Swiss Beatz. I just, you know, Fred the God, that's my bro. Like, Mike's my bro. I just, you know, I grew up, I met a lot of people, you know, doing music. But I think my real purpose is to be of service of people and to do things like this that I'm doing now. I know this is my purpose, is to help others.
Yo, you in the right tribe. You in the right tribe.
The right tribe, you know, and it's just only right that like the universe will conspire to help me create something like this, the rabbit hole, to build a community like this. Yeah, that's, you know, it's a whole lot more.
I'm amazed. Like, I'm really like, wow.
Yeah, it's a whole lot more to my story, but that's, you know, I'm a Harris boy, you know. Mendices my real first cousin. We grew up in the streets, and yeah, we, you know.
I was just in Atlanta, and we was because I had introduced him to my friend Gia, the house goddess, and he about to get into like the real estate stuff, and you know, he been hustling me, and every time I go out there, we always go to like a toast. You know, we always make sure we link. So when I come, I'm gonna hit you up. You definitely got to sit down.
I live here too. Definitely hit me up. Let's link. Yeah, I would love to build with you, man. Like you, I think you someone special. I you know, you got a crazy purpose as me, and you know, as all of us here. And I think that, you know, we connected for a reason. Like I'm like, your story need to be a Hollywood movie film. I think mine's too, but your story is crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be out there. You need to. Well, you probably doing it already, but definitely need to make a movie. Definitely.
Oh no, for sure. I really feel like it should be like more of a series.
Series too, yeah.
So much, like it's just so much. You know, it's like before prison. Then I got the whole bid situation, because that was a crazy experience. Like, and then, you know, I've been in prison longer as an adult than I've been as an adult in the street. You know what I mean? Because
wow.
Yeah, so like you gotta figure from 18. How old? 18 to 24, and then from 25, 35, and I'm only 38. So I spent more time inside than outside. You know what I mean? So prison really was a very significant time in my life. But I was talking to Medicis, and he was like, "Oh, everybody always want to interview me about something asking in prison." And I said, "Yo, but bro, let me tell you the blessing behind that. If you went to space and you experienced space, everybody would swarm you and want to know what space is like. But the majority of those people would not want to go. So people want to know what it's like in prison, and they want to get as close to experiencing it as possible without having to actually go. So people like you, people like me, people like you that have gone, people are intrigued by this because they want to know, how did you survive it? Look how you look. You look 28, 27. You don't look your age. I'm sure a lot of people, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think that I look my age. You know, I don't think I look my age. People say, you went, or they have a certain idea of what a person, especially a woman in prison, looks like. She snag a tooth, you know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy because people typecast us on both sides. When I got to prison, a lot of chicks was like, oh, what you was doing? They thought I was stripping, you know, all kind of stuff. Because, you know, I'm a black woman, and I guess the look, they're thinking not intellectual, not a businesswoman. So we get, you know, so it's a shocker. It was a gift with me going in, because a lot of the women there, when they heard my story, they like, you look like you with this brown face, you know what I mean, that looks like me, and you did what? Oh shit, maybe I could do something. And out there, it was like, you look like you, and you went to prison. People like you don't go to prison. Y'all got the game twisted. So it was like, on both ends, it was big lessons learned. And I feel like I always wanted to help. I always was a giving person, but when I went to prison, I got a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gave me a real significant purpose. I didn't have a purpose before. I was just trying to, I have all kind of purposes. Now I got a focused purpose. Like, they really trying to annihilate our people in these prisons and this mass incarceration, and I'm a voice. I got a real serious purpose that I'm proud of. So it hurt for a little while, but the bigger picture is like what we doing right now, you know?
Exactly.
If you could do it all over, would you have done anything differently?
No.
I say the same thing. And I know people like, I feel like, you know, I found myself. Yo, listen, it was a time, and I'm not.
You got children?
I got 4 kids.
Oh wow, that's dope.
Well, when I went in, I had 2. You know, when I came home, I got 2 more as I came home. But you know, when I was in there and I really figured out, and I felt like I got it, or whatever it is, I felt like, oh shit, the light bulb went off after reading and studying myself. I cried, B. I cried like, I was really, living a life I could die any day, son. Like, I was in the streets, I was gangbanging, I was hustling, selling drugs.
Now you got your Malcolm X on. You got your Malcolm X on. You know?
For real. And you know, I wouldn't ever compare myself with someone that I respect like that so much. You know, an OG like that. But you know, it's a lot of similarities there.
There's similarities. Yeah, take your flowers and your credit. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a different time and it's a different story, but there's similarities. And take your similarities, because you know, there's certain energies that are seen in leaders. And when those are there, highlight them shit. Like, be proud of that. Like, that's the first thing when you said that, how you found yourself, it was already there. But a true God, let me tell you something. People say to me, Aisha, and I say, in what way? I say, in what way? Because that's a very loaded question. Do I believe in a religious God? No, I do not. Not even 1%. But to me, the definition of God is everything. Everything is God.
Yo, what's up?
I told somebody, I said, let me give you an example. Let's say you figured out how to create an ant, right? You open up your hand, you're able to take some type of living material and non-living material, mix it together, and you make something that looks like an ant. Now you think you're a God, right? You can look at it, you can touch it, you can admire it, and you made this thing. So now you think you're a God. But you're not a God until you become the thing that you created, right? So what I say is, people, we are living gods because we are the creation's creation. We are the creation. Like, there is no such thing as making something. If you're not that thing, you're not God.
So we are gods because there is no God without us thinking of it. This brain is the God.
Exactly.
And this is what I be trying to tell people. Like, God and religion you don't need that. It needs you to exist.
Yes, I hope y'all Bible thumpers in here listening.
Oh, Bible
They
thumpers.
in here.
I'm supposed
No, because
to have a
they
debate.
oh, you said Malika, they ain't here.
Yo, listen, I'm supposed to have a debate with my boy Bishop. You know Bishop Lamar? Whitehead?
No.
I don't know.
He was running for Brooklyn Borough president. That's my bro. But he was in prison. He did time in prison. He came out and he was going to try to run for mayor. But he did time. His father was killed from police brutality. You know, he's a dope dude. But he's a bishop. So we get to going back and forth. I said, you want to open up the debate floor? I said, the first thing, I'm going to give you a hint. I don't talk to people that are willingly turn into vampires and turn into cannibals. Because you're drinking the blood and you're eating the flesh. You're a whole cannibal and a vampire. Let's start right there. All right? He's like, what? I'm like, exactly. You know, you all let Europeans come and take your whole shit, like, and turn you into this worship. I don't even want to go there because it gets crazy.
Yeah, cause we gonna go in the Bible. But you know, it's crazy how you make the Malcolm X reference, right? So I read this book, right, and it was talking about higher self, and you know, in connecting with your higher self, it was saying like, you know, the person who wrote it said they gave their higher self a name, so that when they communicate with it, even though we know it's our higher self is us, but when you talking to it, and this might sound a little corny to y'all, but I gave my higher self a name. Y'all want to know
What's
the name?
What's the name?
So I consider myself a Tupac baby. You know what I mean? I grew up on Tupac. At 8 years old, I knew the whole trap. Like I was 8 years old talking about, you know, they got us trapped in this prison up loose, like crazy, right? So I named my higher self Malcolm, right? So listen, I know it sounds corny. After Tupac, Malcolm X, and me, Hocus. So his name is Tupac.
All right. So
I really so when I talk about higher self, I talk.
Right now?
Huh? Well, yeah, you know. And I did this while I was in jail, though. It's crazy. You said that. I'm like, okay, yeah. So there's some type of, you know, correlation there. I definitely look up to somebody like Malcolm X. I know a lot of people got bad stuff to say about him, you know, but I think, you know, I take the fruitfulness things that, you know, that he did, that, you know, his intention, I take that, and you know, because I know he had good intentions.
But
I don't know about anything.
What is right and what is wrong? I mean, all of that shit is people's opinions. People have a problem with everything. People got a problem with the grass because maybe some weeds grew. Like you're gonna find people with problems with everything. There is no perfection other than imperfection, right? So every error, every judge of character leads to growth. So if there's no error, there's no growth. So error is part of the perfection. So when people start